Stephanie Knight, and I am here with my loan officer extraordinaire, Sam Meyers of the Barr Group. We're sitting here in the Avast Realty office, and we're going to talk about 3 things you should never ever do when applying for a mortgage. Okay?
Yes.
So I'm going to name them, and you're the smart one, so then you're going to tell us why. Okay? So, as a realtor, every time I go into a relationship with a new client and we start looking at houses and checking out all these properties, I usually spend, several hours with people. And I feel like I talk and talk and talk to the point that they're not even hearing me anymore. And then I go home at night and I'm hoarse. And I always think, God, why do I talk so much? And then I got totally validated this week when you were with me in this closing, because the closing officer said, oh my gosh, you have such a great realtor that told you all of these things, the things that we're about to tell you right now. So I'm like, oh,
yes.
maybe I don't talk too much. So anyway, the top 3 things you should never do after applying for a mortgage. Number 1, do not deposit or withdraw large amounts of money.
Yeah, this is a big one. So that money is a deposit that all the underwriters are looking at and saying, okay, where'd that come from? How did that get there? Is it drug money? So they
Drug money's bad, illegal money's bad.
They need to source it. So anytime that you start your loan process, you really don't want to be moving money around, whether it's withdrawals or deposits in large sums. When you are with your loan officer, ask them, and don't be afraid to call them anytime.
Yes.
And ask them and say, hey, I need to go buy a washer and dryer. What's the best way to do this? Because you haven't closed yet, you really don't want to do that on credit. You want to try to do it either cash but call and talk to them. They'll know your situation. Your deposits from your employer are fine. Anything like that that's coming from a source like that. But if you had cash under your mattress and then decided you're going to use it for this transaction, that's not a good thing.
Because they'll come back and say, where is this from?
That's right.
Right.
Not for the earnest money or for any part of the loan. So definitely talk to your loan officer.
So what about gifts from a family member?
That is very good. Gifts from a family member or blood relative, we call it, are allowed. But when you do that, you want to have that family member send it straight to the title company, not to the loan officer or to anybody else. So talk to your loan officer before you do the actual moving of that money. It's just so much easier for you as the borrower to go straight to the title company with that gift money.
Good to know. Mm-hmm. Okay, the second thing that you should never do after applying for a mortgage is going out and buying furniture or cars or co-signing on a loan. And I think that's such a natural thing. People are like, okay, we got the house, we're ready to close, let's go get some furniture so we can move in.
Yes.
Big mistake.
Yes, yes it is. So that car payment, let's say it ends up being $500. That $500 is going against you on the debt to income ratio.
Right.
So that debt to income ratio has got to have a certain number in there. So you don't want to be buying on credit like that or adding to your debt. So if you're in a situation where, you've got to have furniture the day that you close or refrigerator, which happens a lot.
Yes.
Something like that. Talk to your loan officer, because maybe there's a way you could just work with cash for that, or maybe there's a way you could, maybe you have room in your debt to income ratio that you can actually just make it happen on credit. But talk to your loan officer, and that way it doesn't make your realtor so afraid when they hear that you've bought a car or you've bought furniture.
Can actually sleep at night. One of my brokers told me a story. It was a really high-end house, and his clients went out and bought a Maserati. And he said, I hope you can sleep in it.
Woo! Yes!
Because you probably will be. And they didn't close because they bought a Maserati.
That's crazy. That's just too much.
And number 3 is don't close any credit cards.
Don't close any credit cards. So the credit bureaus are very finicky when it comes to their algorithms of how they're doing their scores. So when you have a credit card that has a $2,000 limit and it has 0 on it as the balance, that's $2,000 of credit right there that you're not using, and that looks really good for the credit bureaus. And so it makes your score go up. If that card just sits there, you don't close it, just let it sit there, and that credit's not being used, it makes your score go up.
So you get big points for unused credit.
That's right.
Okay.
Big points.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
The other thing that you really, really should know, and this comes up often, is that limit, let's say it is that $2,000 credit limit, you should have 30% of that only as a balance every month on that card. That you should never ever go over that. And if you're trying to raise your credit score, you should actually be more like 10% of that limit. So that then allows your credit score to go up. When that happens every month, and they're seeing 30% or 10% or something like that, your credit score will jump up because you are staying within that limit.
Wow.
And you're providing more open credit that they're going, oh, that looks good.
That's a
There's
great
open
tip.
credit there.
One of the things that I think people get surprised about is they meet with you and they get their pre-approval letter and they think, okay, we're good, we're done.
Yeah, no.
And they don't realize that it's checked and then it's checked again the day before closing, correct?
Oh, they check verification of employment the day before closing now. Yes. So you have to be really vigilant that whole entire 30 days or whatever it's going to take. Do not stop your communications of your buying habits with your loan officer. Make sure you're talking to that loan officer on anything you do. They want you to talk to them.
And that's one of the reasons why Sam and I have partnered up to do these videos, because your loan officer and your realtor really have to be a dream team. I mean, I love it when people use you when I recommend you, because I know that
our communications are there.
We're used to each other's communication. We know where each other's, I shouldn't say each other, I know you know where I fall short. And you keep everything on schedule, and she'll come to me and tell me what they need, what the underwriters need or the lender needs, and I'm go to the client and provide it. So that's something really important to look for when you're looking for a realtor and a loan officer, is that there is somebody that they trust, that they have done a lot of deals with and have good communication with. So if you have any questions, our contact information is at the end of this video. We would love to work with you. We're happy to answer any questions that you may have. So thanks for watching.